Hello, everybody. Welcome in. We are getting ready for the kickoff of the 2026 Misha High School season for the New Heights Cougars here at Parkview in Springfield, Missouri, JFK Stadium. This is where the Cougars won their second district championship 2 years ago, 2024, against Greenwood. Parkview was the host site, although Parkview wasn't in the tournament. We have Cougar starting 11, brought to you by Clevenger Financial. New coach this year for the Cougars, Chris Roberts, in his first year. Bobby Robinson is his assistant. Bobby's returning from last year, was also the assistant. Cougars are going to come out in a 4-4-2 with a diamond midfield. Brandon Ramos, Justin Boney, Evan Horton, and Nixon Meningus across the back. Brandon Schumacher running that pivot position there at the 6. Lucas Nangle and Jackson Dunaway on the wings. Titus Clevenger in the middle. And then up top for the Cougars, they're going to play a 2-striker set with Brogan Reether and Kason Hamlin. Hamlin and Boney are the two captains for the Cougars. Cougars have taken the field, and looks like they're setting up to defend. Parkview will have the kick. 40 minutes on the high school clock. Ball boys are set. We have a 3-man crew tonight for the Cougars. I'm sorry, for the high school varsity game. Parkview did give me their roster with jersey numbers. I'm up here in the booth though, and I might have a little bit of a tough time seeing all these numbers and the style of uniforms that they're wearing. Get out my binoculars here. All right, opening kick, we're underway for the 2026 season. Parkview Vikings in a black jersey with green trim. Cougars in the all whites. Dunaway with the early steal, gets it to Hamlin. Hamlin carrying it down the near side. Hamlin towing the lines, able to keep it in, plays a good ball across over the head, but the backside for Nangle. Nangle gets a touch on, he's right in front, and he puts it in. Cougars are on the board. What a start to the season for the Cougars, as Hamlin plays a great cross in. Nangle settles it down and able to find the finish. Take a look on replay as Hamlin floats it over Reether. Nangle crashing in, able to settle that ball and then find the top of the net for a quick start. Lucas Nangle scored the goal in the Jamboree for us, and on the board early this season with a goal. Parkview working it out of the back. Now in the midfield as Clevenger pressures the ball. Played to the far side. Ball knocked out of play by Nangle, and it will be a throw-in for the Vikings. Ramos there for the Cougars, heads it down, stolen back by the Vikings. Into the middle, Horton steps up to challenge. Nangle gets it ahead to Reether. Reether, good patience, looks to the middle for Clevenger, runs through. Dunaway is there, tries to play it back to Clevenger on the run. Clevenger able to possess. Has time to turn, looks for Hamlin through, and deflected away by the back line of the Vikings. Ball played over the top. Stewart's there at the top of the box. They'll run all the way in, and Stewart has plenty of time to settle it. Out of the back to Horton. Evan Horton, the sophomore center back, has time to carry. Plays it up to Hamlin. Hamlin chips it over the top. Wins it back. Hamlin carrying to the middle, looking for an option. Tries to go through for Nangle. And good job by the keeper for the Vikings coming out of the box. Or coming off his line, I should say, and winning that ball before Nangle could get there. Loose ball in the middle. Schumacher one touch up to Hamlin. Hamlin trying to find it, carrying it to the near side. Stolen away by number 21 for the Vikings. Parkview, careless touch at the top of the box. Hamlin gets a touch on it. Down away there to steal. Plays it to the middle for Schumacher, goes through. Schumacher able to win it back. Back to Ramos on the back line. Ramos to Schumacher. Schumacher turns, gets it to Clevenger. Clevenger to Horton at the back. Horton over to Meningus. Nixon Meningus, good switch to the field to Ramos. Ramos with some space. Into Reether, back to Ramos. Again into Reether, but stolen away this time by the Vikings. Ramos defending. Ball chipped to the far side. Nangle's there to challenge and knock it away. And a throw in for the Vikings. Some discussion there with the ref. I don't know if it's an equipment issue. Oh yeah, it looks like the shin guards fell out of the midfielder for the Vikings. Ball into play. Justin Boney there to head it over. Clevenger plays it across the field. Stolen away by the Vikings. Done away on the challenge as Meningus is in help. Vikings able to turn. Number 21 is Jemmy. Clevenger gets challenged. I'm sorry, Hamlin gets challenged. Ball in the middle for the Vikings. Clevenger there to deny. Vikings patient in the attack. Into the corner. Heavy on the touch. Horton comes in and the left foot of Nangle sweeps it away. A throw in for the Vikings in the attacking third. Ball knocked away in the corner. Will stay Vikings throw. Loose ball at the top of the box. Vikings play it to the corner. Back to an open player at the top. Into the box and cleared away. Hamlin there. Hamlin is able to chest it down. Drops it back to Meningus. Meningus with his left over the top to clear. Vikings able to possess in the attacking half. Drop back to the back defender for the Vikings. Clevenger challenges as the ball goes into the middle. And Clevenger gets called for a little extra on the push. It'll be a free kick for the Vikings. First foul of the game, 35 yards out on the far side. Free kick for the Vikings. Vikings play the back spinning ball in, all the way over the top and out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick for the Cougars. Vikings with their first sub of the game coming in. Number 7, Al-Hamid is subbing out. Cougars played out of the back on the goal kick. Boney's got time. Over to Horton. Horton chips it into the middle. Tough ball for Clevenger. Dunaway heads it back in. Schumacher there. Schumacher gets challenged, able to poke it through to Nangle. Vikings challenge. Schumacher back in the air. Clevenger's there to settle. Over to Dunaway. Dunaway has a challenge coming. Good split. Dunaway looks for the crossover to Nangle. Nangle back into the middle for Reether. Reether tightly defended. Nangle comes onto the ball. Blown up by the Vikings. And played to the near side, out of play. It'll be a throw in for the Cougars just on the defensive side of midfield. Nixon Meningus there to take the throw. Good throw all the way over to Clevenger. Titus Clevenger plays it high into the air. Gets a touch on it to Reether. Reether tries to chop to turn. Vikings able to repossess. Vikings played all the way back to the keeper to reset. Left-footed ball to the near side. Nice touch to keep it in by number 11. That is Castillo-Berros. Ball played through the line. Ramos there. Nice drop to Stewart. Rush Stewart has plenty of time. Stewart, the senior keeper, 4-year starter. Ball back in the middle. Bounces over the first line. Reether will chase. Vikings there first, able to play it back to the keeper. Now into possession. Ball played on the ground to the far side. Connection in the middle. Loose ball as Boney steps and wins it. To Dunaway with some space. Over to Schumacher. Schumacher carrying ahead. Plays it to Nangle. Nangle one touch back to Schumacher. Ball stolen away by the Vikings, but Nangle's on the run to repossess. Nangle cuts it through. Chipped away by the Vikings. Schumacher's there to steal it. Schumacher takes the shot and sends it over the goal. And a goal kick upcoming for the Vikings. Take a look here as this ball got cleared, but right to Schumacher as he's able to settle and gets a look from just beyond the top of the box. Parkview player is down, being attended to by the ref. Looks like he's going to be able to walk it off, and the restart will be a goal kick for the Vikings. Ten minutes gone here in the first half of this opening game of the season. Parkview on the far side. Rogan Reether comes to challenge. Ball played ahead. Boney there. Tries to touch it back to Stewart. And Stewart's able to get off his line and clear it away. Vikings take the throw down the line. Ball touched by... I thought that was touched by Ramos, and that is the ruling, that it was last touched by the Cougars. Will be a corner kick for the Vikings. Vikings first corner. Back spinning ball in. Stewart's there, and he's able to make the save. Turned into a little bit of a dangerous ball by the Vikings. Nixon Meningus plays it into the middle. Nangle able to get a touch on it, can't possess as the Vikings steal. Ball deflected by Dunaway. Vikings able to get back to it to play it back to the back line. Vikings with the big switch to the near side. It's number 11, Castillo-Barros. Ball cleared to Titus Clevenger in the middle. Clevenger has some room to run. Looking for Reether to outlet. Cuts it back into the middle. Over to Dunaway. Back to Schumacher. Sweep to Meningus, but off the mark, and out of bounds. Will be a turnover to the Vikings. Number 9 with the throw in for the Vikings. Don't see him on the roster. Hamlin steals. Ball stolen back by the Vikings in the middle of the field. Meningus comes to clear. Finds Nangle all the way across. One touch back to Ramos, but off the mark. Boney's going to have to chase. And Boney drops it back to Stewart. Good patience by the back line of the Cougars. Stewart through the middle. Goes all the way through. And back to the Vikings. Lucas Nangle comes in and disrupts. Stolen by Schumacher. Back to Ramos. Ramos into the middle. And foul called on the Vikings as Clevenger tried to work to space and got tripped up. Brandon Schumacher drops back to take the free kick. 10 yards on the defensive side of midfield. Schumacher with a backspinning ball all the way into Clevenger. Clevenger tries to settle, ball deflected by the Vikings. It's into the box and loose, and the Vikings clear. And it'll be a throw in for the Cougars. Ball in the middle, Dunaway's there. Dunaway with some space to take the shot, and deflected by the keeper for the save. It will be a corner kick for the Cougars. Nixon Meningus up to take the corner kick. Ball in, headed away by the Vikings. Dunaway settles it with his chest, but cleared again by the Vikings. Boney tries to play it back in, loose ball in the middle. Vikings chip it away. Dunaway there. Gets a touch on it, but stolen back by the Vikings. That's number 11. I'm a little confused by the roster I have, whether there's a typo on here. It says Castillo-Barros for 11, but there's no first name. And then the next line says varsity Jemmy, and varsity's in all caps as if it's trying to signal out that it's the varsity roster. They did stop the clock at 24:22. I'll reset the clock on my side here. I'm not sure what the discussion was, if there was a equipment issue or an injury. Looks like Reether subbed out. Spencer Jackson, the senior, subs in for the Cougars. Ball on the sideline, knocked away. Meningus takes the quick throw. Vikings blow it up and back out of bounds. Another throw for the Cougars. Ball down the line. Hamlin fighting for possession. Knocked away by the Vikings. Another throw for the Cougars. Nixon Meningus there to take the throw. Plays it over the head of Hamlin. Hamlin looking to get there to press. Ball played back to the middle. Horton gets a touch on it into the air, and out of bounds throw in for the Vikings. Ball to the back line. Vikings possessing. Hamlin pressures the ball. All over to the far side as Jackson comes to press. Ball loose in the middle. Dunaway reads it and steals. Over to Jackson. Touch back in as it's cleared away by the Vikings. Ramos on the back line heads it into the air and out of bounds. Throwing for the Vikings on the far side. Vikings will reset as the fullback comes up to take the throw. Angle comes in and blows it up. Last touch by the Cougars. Another throw for the Vikings. Ball heavy touched by the midfield. Clevenger plays it into the air. Cleared away by the Vikings. Not sure what he was looking for there, but that's out of bounds. And another throw for the Cougars here on the near side. Meningus takes the throw into Clevenger. Clevenger heads it down. An opportunity for Hamlin, but off the mark and stolen back by the Vikings. Into the midfield. Dunaway is able to steal. Back to Schumacher. To Clevenger with some space to let it run. Clevenger with the left foot tries to find the seam. Ball deflected by the back line of the Vikings. Back into possession on the far side. Vikings play it over the top, but off the mark and out of bounds. And the Cougars will take the throw. It looked like it could have been a dangerous idea, but just nowhere near the target. Throw in deflected away by the Vikings. Another throw for the Cougars. Ramos over there to take the throw. Brandon Ramos, the junior. Schumacher and Clevenger there. Clevenger's able to play it over to Horton. Horton to Dunaway in the midfield. Horton tries to play it up to Hamlin, but stolen in the midfield by the Vikings. Dunaway's able to step in for the challenge. Can't possess it, though, as the Vikings back line's there to settle. Good turn into the middle, into an opportunity to attack for the Vikings. Over to the far side, Ramos defending. Ramos gets a touch to clear it out of play. And it's a throw in the attacking third for the Vikings. Right wing takes the throw. Illegal throw in called by the official. So the Cougars will take over on the throw. Halfway done with this first half. Cougars with an early goal in the first moments of the game as Hamlin carried it down the right side, put a nice cross over the top as Nangle ran in from that midfield position. Able to settle it down with his body, and then a clever touch to the top of the net over the goalie. Ball knocked away on the sideline. Cougars again with the throw. Ramos into Clevenger. Clevenger plays it over the top for Hamlin to chase. Hamlin over the near side as it runs away. Looks like this is a fairly crowned field the way that ball just kept running out. I guess the wind is blowing that way also. Vikings have the throw. The tempo of this game has been interesting. It's been real patient so far, not real aggressive in either team attacking. Throw in. Schumacher heads it into the middle. Vikings trying to settle. Spencer Jackson's there. Jackson chases. Back into the middle of the field for the Vikings. Good steal by Clevenger. Clevenger tries for the shot. Falls to Hamlin. Hamlin trying to find his feet. Vikings clear. Nangle comes in. Nangle plays it back across the middle, and that was actually out of bounds already. This field does have that inset soccer line, so it's 2 yards in front of the football end line, which does make it a little tricky when you're used to playing on a different, but it is nice because the 10-yard line of the football field is the top of the penalty box. Vikings possessing on the back as Spencer Jackson challenges. Good turn by the Vikings midfielder. Doesn't see anything, drops it back to the back line. Nangle comes up to press, back into the midfield. Nangle gets a deflection. And there's a player down. They asked for a stoppage of the clock as the Parkview player went down. I don't know if that was on that challenge by Nangle. I didn't actually see the injury, but he's down on the floor. And the ref is asking for a sub. All right, it'll be a drop ball restart. I don't see where the ball is. Oh, the AR has the ball. All right, over here in the right corner. Restart the clock here. And we're good to go. Vikings possession on the back line. Still, Nangle comes in, another nice challenge. And I believe he won that ball for the Cougars. Cougars will get a throw in the attacking third. Ball into Clevenger, touched back to Nangle. Nangle tries to send it across, but it's blown up by the Vikings. The throw in for the Cougars. Clevenger plays it into the air. Ball into the middle. Caleb Gibre subbed in the game on that last change as well. Let's see, he subbed in for Spencer Jackson. Vikings trying to connect on the sideline with a 1-2 pass, but off the mark and back to the Cougars. Ramos into Schumacher. Schumacher struggles to control the pass. Ramos, nice feet to win it back to Schumacher with some space. Back to Boney on the back line. I'm sorry, that was Horton over to Boney. Boney drops it back to Stewart with plenty of time. Some pressure comes in as he gives it to Horton. Horton able to settle with some space to carry. Ball ahead to Dunaway. Dunaway is able to find Hamlin. Clevenger there. Tries to play it through to Meningus on the overlap. And well defended by the Vikings back line. Ball into the middle of the field. Clevenger able to win it. Tries to get it to Gabriel. Stolen away by the Vikings. Now it's loose. Clevenger in a challenge. Dunaway comes away with the loose ball. Gets it to Hamlin. Hamlin, nice settle. Looking for an option. Plays it over the top for Gabriel on the run. Hamlin tries to do the three-toe over to Nangle. Vikings able to clear. Over to the far side. Ramos defending. Vikings connect. Plays it in the middle. Horton deflects. Clevenger able to chip it back to Stewart, and Stewart clears it away. Nice patient defending by the Cougars. Ball in the air. Nangle tries to settle it down, chips it back into the middle. Ramos again clears it away. Vikings possess over the near side. 15 minutes left here in the first half. Cougars leading 1-0. Meningus defending. And 50-50 call there. Could have gone either way. Vikings will keep the throw. Sub at the line for the Vikings. Cougars have made 2 subs. I'm not sure if Reether was injured or if he had an equipment issue, but Jackson subbed in. And I saw that Spencer Jackson was actually nursing an injury in pregame. So he was in for just a few minutes, and then the freshman Caleb Gabriel subbed in. Gabriel on the ball now. Nangle over the top to Gabriel on the run down the line. Gabriel's able to blow it up, gets it to Hamlin in the middle. Hamlin takes the shot and blasts it over the goal. Good opportunity for the Cougars. Take a look on replay as we look back at this opportunity. That ball just squirts right out to Hamlin just from the top of the box. And auditioning for the football team with that extra point. Nangle comes on the challenge on the far side. Vikings able to possess. Good ball ahead. Stewart backs up. Boney gets put to the test, able to shield him off the ball. Nice job by Boney. Stolen back by the Vikings. Dangerous ball in the middle. Horton's there, tries to clear, but mistouches. Vikings repossess. And heavy touch to the end line, but foul called on the Cougars. Vikings will get a free kick from a dangerous spot there just outside the box, about 15 yards out. So yeah, first crack for the Cougars really on that. Stewart dropped back instead of coming and winning that ball. Boney was able to get there, but then cleared it back into a dangerous spot. And then Horton mishit into an attacking opportunity for the Vikings. Free kick sent in, headed in the air by the Vikings, but nowhere near the target. And the Cougars have a goal kick. .12 minutes left here in the first half. Rush Stewart there to take the kick. Stewart all the way across for Brian Ramos as the left fullback. Ramos with time, tries to find Gabriel. Nice job by Gabriel winning that and playing it to Dunaway. Nice touch by Horton up to Meningus with some room. Meningus looking for an option. Plays it down the line to Hamlin on the run. Hamlin gets through the challenge. Plays it across the box. Gabriel there to get a touch. Fighting for the ball. Vikings able to possess, but Gabriel's forcing him back to the middle. Headed in the air by Dunaway. Schumacher heads it back to Clevenger. Clevenger tries to get creative. Vikings steal. Ball cleared away by the Vikings to the near side. That's going to run all the way out. Horton plays a touch on it to get it back to Meningus. Meningus looking for a ball over the top. Gabriel on the run to the middle. Good ball as it's just floating there, and the Vikings have to clear. Nice dangerous ball by Meningus as he was able to put enough backspin on it that it just stayed in trouble. Gabriel to Clevenger. Clevenger chips it over and off the mark. Goal kick for the Vikings. Restart with a goal kick. Jax Edson subbed in the game. Edson gets the first touch, but stolen back by the Vikings. Ball ahead. Heavy touch to the corner as the Vikings chase. Boney with a nice tackle. And throw in for the Vikings. Well-timed tackle by Justin Boney. Take a look at that again as they track down the ball. Boney able to slide in and win that ball first. All right, back to live action. Throw in touched by the Vikings, but can't do anything with it as it goes out the end line. Another goal kick for the Cougars. Rush Stewart with a good ball to the far side. Edson there. Vikings get the first touch. Into the middle. Hamlin challenges. Vikings back line is up high. Able to get back to it and drop it back to the keeper. Over to the far side. Edson reads it and steals. Cleared away with a slide tackle of the Vikings, but Clevenger's there. Clevenger into Gabry. Gabry swings and misses as the Vikings steal. Dunaway there to help cover. Ball back to the far side. Edson challenges down the line. Ball into the middle for the Vikings. Vikings at the top of the box. Ball cleared away. Meningus, good patience to receive that rather than clear. Looks for Hamlin. Into the middle, Gabry comes over as the Vikings are able to head it down and then clear it back to the attack. Meningus shielding. Ball stays in. Horton challenging for it. And out of bounds. Ruled a throw in for the Vikings. Good effort play by the Viking attacker to get a touch on that and keep it in. Ball back in for the Vikings. Dunaway challenging. Sent across the box, chipped up into the air, and Stewart's there for the save. Whoop, knocked the camera, sorry about that. Into the midfield for Edson. Edson gets taken out on the slide tackle, sloppy slide tackle, and it's a free kick for the Cougars. $7:30 to play here in the first half. Schumacher there to take the free kick. High back spinning ball up to Clevenger. Clevenger heads it forward into the attack. Parkview defender, nice job heading it back to the keeper so he could pick it up, kill the threat. Ball into the middle. Vikings able to possess. Down to the near side and heavy touch off the mark back to the Cougars. Meningus with a throw-in, looking for Gabry, but knocked away by the Vikings. Parkview has a couple subs at the line. Their player asking for a sub, but they can't do it on Cougars' throw. Dunaway back to Meningus, able to find Schumacher in the middle. Schumacher with space. Plays it to Ramos. Ramos into Gabry, tries to turn. Gabry tries to cut it through to Clevenger, stolen away by the Vikings. Loose ball, Gabry back to it. To Dunaway. Dunaway looks up. Has Clevenger on the run. Plays it on the ground to Clevenger at the top. Clevenger looking through with his left and off the mark. Good looking opportunity again for the Cougars. That will allow the Parkview Vikings subs to enter into the game. 6 minutes left here in the first half. 3 subs entering in. Restart on the goal kick. Hamlin comes to challenge. Hamlin gets held as he stole the ball away, and ref lets it play. Horton over the top. Vikings play it wide. That's in there to challenge. Nice move by the Vikings right side attack. Connecting down the far side. Top of the box. Drop back to the defender. Gabry comes in. Vikings able to possess. Left fullback pushing into the attack. Over to the near side. Dunaway. Able to settle and turn. Tries to clear it away and gets fouled from behind as he's clearing. Free kick for the Cougars. Free kick taken by Stewart up ahead. Clevenger in the midfield, able to win it but can't connect. Gets it actually over to Hamlin, able to chase it down. Hamlin with the left. Into the middle, dangerous ball. Vikings into the corner, able to keep it in and finally lose it out of play. It's a throw in for the Cougars in the attacking third. Sub coming in the game for the Cougars. Lucas Nangle back into the game at his left midfield position. Meningus coming all the way down to take the throw. Meningus across. Oh, miscommunication there as Nangle was there, but Clevenger was going for the bike. Vikings played ahead. Boney able to get it back to the keeper, Stewart. Stewart on the ground to Boney on the far side. Boney with time. Plays it on the ground up to Clevenger. Clevenger, nice one-touch to Ramos. Ramos ahead to Nangle. Nangle can't settle as he's trying to turn. And out of bounds back to the Vikings. Vikings back line with the ball. Into the midfield. Dunaway is there to steal. Dunaway, nice move to find some space. Looking into the attack. Dunaway, good hesitation and go. Dunaway still on the ball, into the box. Ball blown up. Vikings into a counterattack. Good step by Horton. Horton tries to find Schumacher. Vikings able to steal. Meningus, nice step into challenge. Able to win the ball and gets held, taken down, and he is going to give. He's asked to stop the clock. Okay, so stop the clock for a warning, but did not issue the card. Clevenger. Okay, some confusion on what's happening here. So he was still in discussion, I guess, when they took the kick. We'll reset the kick here. Definitely could have been a yellow card for a unsporting hold. Decides to go with the common foul and a talking to. So 2:22 on the official clock, waiting for the restart. Meningus, good ball in, headed away by the Vikings. And a throw in for the Cougars in the attacking third. Meningus into Hamlin. Hamlin trying to fight for possession. Knocked away by the Vikings. Into the middle of the field. Heavy touch as Boney steps to clear. Schumacher chips it over the top. Vikings repossess. Gabriel challenges over the near side. Vikings in possession. Ball down the line. Dunaway is able to step in and clear it, or to poke it away, I should say, and Meningus clears. Hamlin chases down the line. Ball floats in, it'll stay in play. Good backspin ball again by Meningus to make that a dangerous ball that the defense has to do something about. Dunaway deflects the ball. And the ball goes all the way back to the keeper in the box for the Vikings. A minute left to play here in the first half. Cougars holding that 1-0 lead after that early goal. Ball in the midfield for the Vikings. Over to the near side. Fullback pushes up. Played down the line, but Really not a good, in a good position to play that ball, and he just rolls right out of bounds. Meningus takes the throw. Dunaway there, tries to play it into the middle. Dunaway looking for possession. Vikings are able to steal. Ball played through, runs through all the way to Stewart. And Stewart, nice patience, able to pick it up in the box. 15 seconds remaining. Stewart punts it away. Over the top of Hamlin. Ball's loose. Gabriel there to get a touch. Chips it over the top. Hamlin chasing. 2 seconds remaining. And that will do it for the first half. Cougars go into halftime with the 1-0 lead. Go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock, yeah. All right, we'll get a 10-minute clock going for halftime. And we'll be back after this first half recap to start the second half. Good, you know, talking a little bit about this squad, Coach Roberts has them playing patiently. Cougars really nice job playing patiently on that back line. They got that opportunity early as Hamlin played that cross in for Nangle to finish. Vikings just not presenting much of a threat into the attack. They've done a nice job possessing. Just haven't been really threatening once they get into that attacking third. So see what adjustments both teams make to start this second half. Cougars have to be happy with this performance so far. Parkview, one of those schools that we wanted on the schedule because they're not a powerhouse, but they've been improving these last couple years. They had a really strong performance last year in several games. They beat Joplin. They lost to Carthage 1-0. Had some good games where looked like they had figured some things out. So definitely no slouch of a team. But the Cougars have looked good. Definitely looked up to the challenge today. So halftime adjustments coming up, and we'll see what the second half brings. We'll take you through that first half recap as we go to an audio break. Ben. Can I get a water refill? Did you just get here? Nice. Thank you. All right, both teams have started to make their way back onto the field. So we'll come back here for the start of the second half. I believe the Vikings took the kick to start the game, so the Cougars will have the kick to start the second half. Looks like the same starters for the Cougars. "40 minutes left to play in this opening game of the 2026 season. It hasn't been an overly fast-paced game, so hopefully fatigue won't be a huge issue here in the second half. Hamlin over the ball, ready for the restart. Ref confirming that everyone's ready. And we're underway. Ball drop back to Schumacher. Schumacher ahead to Dunaway. Dunaway able to settle it, looking for the drop. Horton with the left foot ahead to Clevenger. I'm sorry, that's Meningus. Hamlin challenging for the ball. Horton steps up, chips it with his right over to Meningus. Hamlin's there. Loose ball as Dunaway comes in. Vikings win it. Down the far side, Vikings carrying. Hamlin comes in for the, Horton comes in for the challenge. Dunaway wins the ball. Up to Hamlin. Hamlin trying to turn. Has Nangle on the run, plays him over the top. Nangle chasing and just too heavy to the corner. Out of bounds for a goal kick for the Vikings. Ball restarted to the near side. Vikings switch the field. Tough pass to maintain. Vikings able to keep it in as Meningus defends. Space in the middle of the field. Nangle comes in, ball played to the near side. Nangle blows it up and throw in for the Vikings here in the attacking half. Ramos gets a touch, sends it out of play for another throw in. Vikings back in the middle. Schumacher comes up to challenge, able to turn him back. Dunaway steals, gets it to Clevenger, tries to play the one touch to Schumacher. Vikings possess it back. Ball over the top. Heavy touch by the Vikings, number 14. That was the attacker, Karkamo. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Ben. And goal kick for the Cougars upcoming. Ball ahead to Meningus, tries to chip it over to Hamlin. Loose ball and collision. Vikings able to win it. Played down the line. Meningus clips it away. And confusion by the AR on which side we're going. It will be a Vikings throw. Dunaway heads the throw in out. And another throw for the Vikings. Space in the middle. Vikings trying to switch it. Nangle steps in, wins the ball, and draws the foul. Schumacher there to take the restart, plays it short to Clevenger. Clevenger back across the middle of Schumacher. Loose ball. One back by the Vikings. Ramos, nice step as the ball is played wide. Vikings able to repossess on the back line. Center back into the pivot with some space. Vikings trying to make the move down the line, and Ramos able to poke it away. Boney able to get it back to Stewart to clear. Again, nice patient defending by Justin Boney on the back line. Nice settle by Reether to play it to Nangle. Nangle back to Hamlin. Hamlin trying to settle. Has some space in the middle, plays it over the top. Good ball to Meningus running. Meningus able to chase it to the corner. Gets it to Dunaway. Dunaway with a little space, finds Schumacher. Schumacher carrying into the middle. Makes a move. Schumacher still on the ball. Plays it into Reether. Back to Clevenger. Clevenger wants a shot. And didn't get a great strike on it. Easy save for the keeper. Vikings down the near side. Reether comes in to help as Nangle bodies him off the ball and gets called for the shoulder barge. Vikings switch the field to the far side. Meningus comes up to pressure. Vikings with some space. Ball played through. Boney again on the challenge. Stewart comes up. Nice job by Stewart. Clears it away to the near side. Nangle over the top of Nangle actually and out of bounds. But well cleared by Stewart. Probably could have just picked that up in the box. Ramos gets called for the handball as it came off of his chest. I didn't actually see the handball. I'm assuming that's what happened. It may have been a secondary action. Free kick from 20 out for the Vikings. Three-man wall for the Cougars. Vikings with 5 players set up on the backside of the goal. Left-footed strike in, near side, and Stewart with a great save. That looked very dangerous as it was coming in, spinning towards the near post. But Stewart able to get 2 hands on it and secure it. Ball over the top into a counterattack. Reether ahead to Hamlin. Hamlin in, takes the shot, and it's a goal for the Cougars. Cougars up 2-0. What a counterattack for the Cougars as Stewart made that save. Let's take a look at that on replay as Reether got it ahead to Hamlin. Hamlin one-on-one buries it in the back of the net. .32:50 on the official clock as the Cougars take a 2-0 lead. Dunaway comes in and challenges. Schumacher in the middle. Vikings win the ball. Vikings possession in the midfield. Dunaway's able to steal. Back to Horton. Horton over the top for Hamlin to chase. Vikings back line able to handle it, get it to the keeper. Keeper back to the middle. On the ground to the far side. Dunaway comes up to press. Vikings holding on the back line. Looking for a big switch. Loose ball. Reether steals. Gets it to Dunaway. Over to Hamlin. Hamlin lets it run to the corner. And Hamlin can't get the control on it. Goes out of bounds the end line for a goal kick for the Vikings. Big ball gets through Ramos. Boney there. Good ball back to Stewart to clear the threat. Over the top to Nangle. Nangle on the near side. Tries to settle to Ramos. Stolen away, but Ramos wins it back. Nice feet. Brandon Ramos on the challenge. The Vikings steal it back on the near side. Ball out of bounds on the near side as Ramos does a nice job defending. And throwing for the Cougars. Into Clevenger. Clevenger able to open up. Has Schumacher with space in the middle. Schumacher carrying ahead. Finds Dunaway. Dunaway drops it back. Looking for an option. Finds Ramos, the left fullback, to Clevenger. Clevenger trying to turn. Being defended. Vikings able to knock him off the ball. And switched over to the far side. .30 minutes to play here in the second half. Cougars with the 2-0 lead. Ramos, nice job defending that ball as they try to play it through. Goes all the way to Hamlin. Hamlin chips it over the top to Dunaway on the run. Challenged by the Vikings. Dunaway still on it. Plays it across the box. And that's in for another goal for the Cougars. Jackson Dunaway finds the back of the net as he short-sided the keeper and deflects right into the net. Take a look as Dunaway plays that. Just a tricky ball as Reether was making the run on the far post. And so the keeper had to honor that, and he just short sides the near post. All right, back to the action. Cougars with the 3-0 lead. Nangle gets a little handsy and pushes the Viking player down. Foul called on the Cougars. Quick restart by the Vikings. To the top, Clevenger gets a foot on it. Ahead to Reether. Reether turns. Gets clawed down from behind. And foul called on the Vikings. Clevenger takes this restart, plays it over top to Hamlin. Nice defending by the Vikings as it's able to clear the threat. Clevenger puts it back into play. Plays it back to Horton on the back line. Horton, nice job settling, looking for an option. Plays it over to Meningus as the right fullback. Meningus back spinning ball to the top for Hamlin. Loose ball in the middle. Over to Nangle on the near side. Nangle chases, able to keep it in on the corner. Nangle goes for the nutmeg, and I don't know, sorry, I may not have got that in camera frame, but the Vikings able to clear it away. It'll be a throw for the Cougars. Nangle with a big throw in to Hamlin. Hamlin trying to find it. Loose ball at the top for Clevenger. Clevenger at the top of the box. Still on the ball. Trying to find an angle. Gets it to Nangle on the near side. Nangle with the left foot plays it across the box. And well played by the keeper to settle that. Spencer Jackson in the game. I suppose he came in on the after the goal. I didn't see him sub in. Looks like he's in for the... Who did he go in for? Maybe for Jackson? Jackson Dunaway subbed out as Spencer Jackson subbed in. Brandon Schumacher pressing on the ball. Vikings able to get through it. Played down the line, actually through the middle. Dangerous ball. Ramos is going to have to chase. Vikings at the top of the box, takes the shot, and Stewart, nice save to play it over. It'll be a corner kick for the Vikings, but a great save by Stewart to kill the threat. Take a look at that on replay as Cougars' back line got caught taking a nap, and Stewart had to do some work to keep us scoreless. Ball in. Stewart jumps up and knocks it out on the end line, so another corner kick upcoming for the Vikings. Taken on the near side this time. Ball sent in, back post. Stewart gets a hand on it. Looks like it was last touched by Boney. And it's another corner kick for the Vikings. Good ball in again. Touched first by Boney. Nice header to clear. Up to Hamlin. Hamlin carrying down the line. Knocked away by the Vikings. And a throw in for the Cougars upcoming. Just over 25 minutes to play here in the second half. Ramos takes the throw into Nangle. Nangle finds Hamlin. Hamlin able to open up. Plays into the middle for Jackson. Over the top. Headed away by the Vikings. Clevenger there to challenge. Vikings able to get through. Into space in the middle. Clevenger forces him wide. Clevenger, nice job taking away the angle. Vikings able to repossess. Schumacher comes in on the challenge, pokes it to Boney, and Schumacher gets called for the foul as he got a little handsy there on the challenge. Vikings on the ground on the free kick. Clevenger there to defend. Drop back to the near side. Reether defending. Ball over the top. Horton gets a foot on it. Not enough to clear as the Vikings are right back into the box. Nice job by Boney. Vikings still alive. And offside actually is the call. So, oh no. I'm sorry, not offside. It went out the end line. That end line is a little bit confusing, like we said earlier, that it's inset of the football. So it looked like it was a real dangerous goal scoring opportunity for the Vikings, but it was actually already out. All right, another corner kick sent over the top. Boney there defending on ball. Boney, nice clear with the left and out to the sideline for a throw-in for the Vikings. Meningus able to clear. Ball back in. Vikings connecting. Horton gets a touch. Meningus tries to clear. Loose into the middle. Vikings switch to the near side. Sets up the shot. And off the post. Deflection. Looked like he may have been offside. And it's out of bounds. Good clear by the Cougars. Dangerous play. Sub checking in for the Cougars. Take a look at this shot. Just off the corner of the post. Brogan Reether subbing out as Crumrine subbing in. Let's take a look again at this and see if he was offside. Boy, it sure looks like he could have been on that follow. All right, back into play. Another opportunity. Nangle gets his feet in there and steals it. Crumrine steps in. Loose ball, Spencer Jackson there. Good touch to Hamlin. Hamlin with room to run in front. Hamlin carries to the wide side. Cougars are not supporting him, though. Hamlin takes the shot and goes wide of the frame and out the end line. Hamlin making that run, but the whole, I shouldn't say the whole team. Spencer Jackson was making the run, but everyone else was kind of content to let it go out. I think the Cougars have kind of dropped back into a 5-4-1 maybe. Case and Hamlin taking some time to readjust after the long run. It is a hot day here today. It's in the 90s, 92 maybe. And on this turf, it's definitely feel. They haven't taken a water break though, so there's I guess it's not hot enough for that. Loose ball. Schumacher gets a touch on it, but can't possess. Vikings back to the back line. Schumacher will chase. Ball through to Ramos. Ramos, good patience. Looks for Clevenger. Clevenger all the way back to Stewart. Stewart has time. Good ball over the top. Hamlin gets a touch on it. Clevenger runs on. Down the line, Jackson. And off the mark, out of bounds, back to the Vikings. Ball back into play. Clevenger goes in. Nice job dispossessing. Ball deflected by Jackson. Loose to Schumacher. Schumacher into the attack. Plays it across to Nangle. Good ball on the floor. Ball deflected by the back line of the Vikings and swept away. All the way up to the attacking player for the Vikings. Over to the near side. Viking player trying to find his feet. Ramos defending as Nangle comes in to help. Ball played over the top. If he's on, could be trouble. Stewart came up. Stewart tries to get back in time and does. Nangle steps in. Nice defense by Nangle. And ref lets him play. It looked like he got pushed in the back. Nangle, another nice step. Wins the ball. Hamlin's out front if he can find him. Tries to play it through the seam. And Nangle gets fouled in what you could have to argue is a promising attack, but no card is going to be issued. Clevenger backspinning ball over the top. Schumacher on the run, and the keeper's there to handle it off the bounce. A lot of space in the midfield for the Vikings. Over the near side. Can't tell if that's number 10. Can't quite make out the numbers here. I don't see number 10 on the roster, though, so. Maybe that's 18. Good player over here on the right side. Left-footed. Played up to him again. Chase to the sideline and can't quite keep it in. Throw in for the Cougars. 18:30 left to play here in this second half. Ramos there to take the throw into Nangle. Nangle tries to chip it back, but out of bounds to the Vikings. Vikings send another player to the line to check in. Crumrine heads it down. Nangle comes in to challenge. Ball loose to the Vikings. Switch to the field. Ball deflected by the ref. And Vikings will have a drop ball right there. Restart on the drop. Vikings midfielder looking to turn. Plays it through the slot on the near side. Nangle defending. Gets to his left foot. Stewart again. Nice save. Has to knock it over. And another corner for the Vikings. Sixth corner of the game for the Vikings. Almost, I think 5 of them have come here in the second half. They brought it to the near side, but ref saying it needs to be a far side corner, so adjusting over to that side. Ball spinning in, loose at the top. And over the top of the goal. Goal kick upcoming for the Cougars. More subs in the game for the Vikings. Cougars take the restart. Stewart backspinning ball on the goal kick all the way up to midfield to Hamlin. Looking for possession on the far side. Spencer Jackson fighting for it. Vikings able to possess. Clevenger, nice job winning it off the ball and drawing the foul. That'll be a free kick for the Cougars. Looks like Meningus will... Actually, Stewart's coming all the way up to take it. I don't know that that's really necessary there, but works out okay. Horton comes in and wins the header. Schumacher trying to find it. Able to win it. Schumacher into the attack. Has some space to run. Schumacher to the top of the box. And heavy on the touch. Can't control the opportunity for the shot as the Vikings clear it away. Vikings back to the middle of the field. Ball to the top. Switch to the far side. Meningus there to shield it out of play. And a throw-in upcoming for the Cougars. Meningus good throw into Schumacher. Schumacher can't control it, but falls loose to Hamlin. Hamlin trying to find a spot. Schumacher gets it over to Jackson. Stolen by the Vikings. Far side back to the middle. With some space. Kremrine steps. Able to get around him. Played to the near side. And off the mark. And Cougars get the throw. Ramos takes the throw into Krumrine, and Krumrine clears it away. I think he's, I don't know, maybe he was saying an illegal throw, not that it mattered because we kicked it right out of bounds anyway. All right, another sub for the Vikings. Vikings have had plenty of rotations here in this game. Ball in, Krumrine chests it down. Dangerous ball into the middle. Stewart tries to clear. An angle, good challenge. And knocked out of play, throw-in for the Vikings. Under 13 to play here in the second half of this opening game of the season here in Springfield, Missouri at Parkview's JFK Stadium. Ball sent in, dangerous ball. Still there, Stewart, what a save. And takes away another threat. Rush Stewart, the senior keeper, having a great game for the Cougars. Looks like he's a little shaken up. 6th save of the game. Throw in up to Hamlin. Hamlin gets the touch, and foul called on the Vikings. Again, how is that not a yellow card for a promising attack? Not sure, but he might have forgot his cards today. Meningus into Nangle. Nangle head to Hamlin on the slot, blown up by the Vikings. Into the midfield, Vikings with some space. Switch to the field, Ramos there on the far side. Spencer Jackson comes into shield, tries to get it back to Boney, nice ball. Boney to Clevenger. Clevenger chops it back to Jackson. A little confusion there by the back line. Horton has to step it up, and another corner kick upcoming for the Vikings. Jax Edson at the line to check in at the next opportunity. 11 minutes to play. Ball to the top of the box. Cougars trying to clear and are able to successfully clear. Meningus did take that off the arm, but it was right off of his foot, which is not a handball by rule because it's a natural position in the attempt to play the ball correctly. So good ruling by the ref if that's what he was seeing. Ramos looks to play it through to Hamlin, stole away by the back line of the Vikings again and knocked out of play. Both teams looking to sub. Jax Edson subbing in for. Ref stopped the clock for some reason. Oh, red card to he just issued a red card to the Vikings player. I'm not sure that had to be a language thing because I didn't see any contact that was evident. So Vikings will have to play. They'll have to play out the rest of this game with 10 players. (10:08) on the official clock when we resume. The center is there discussing with the AR the correct procedure here, I think, or at least what they saw. He's writing down. So no tactical yellows have been issued, but he did have the red card for the language. Gets called for the Ramos takes the throw and gets called for the illegal throw-in. Vikings have some more space to take if they want. They take the throw-in. Jax Edson in the game after that sub heads it away. Ball into the middle. Ramos there. Nice job to settle and clear. Cougars in that 5-4-1 defensive low block. Or mid block, really. Ball played to the corner and chased out of bounds. Throw in for the Cougars. Let's see if Ramos can take the throw with his feet on the ground this time. There's a good throw. Ball deflected by the Vikings and another throw for the Cougars. Briner Ramos takes the throw down the line and gets called again for a illegal throw. Ball into the top of the box, shot, and Stewart's right there for another save. 7th save of the game for Stewart. Ball out to the near side for Meningus. Meningus with some space, plays it over the top. Vikings play it back into the midfield. Over to the near side. Crumrine defending. Ball played in. Good touch to space. Horton there. Nice feet as the Cougars can't find an answer to clear that away. And the Parkview Vikings are on the board. Take a look at that on replay as that player has been giving Cougars trouble this second half. And 5 defenders there for the Cougars, but nobody could find a foot to that ball. All right, 3-1 the score. Cougars give up their shutout. 8 minutes left to play. Clevenger steals in the midfield. Clevenger into the counterattack. Up ahead to Hamlin. Hamlin, and almost answers with a goal of his own. Goes just over the goal. Parkview has a player down in the center circle. Trainer now on the field. Take a look at the last goal by the Vikings. Both teams taking a drink break as this appears to be a serious injury. We'll take an audio break here as we wait for the trainer to resolve the problem. It looks like he's actually going to be able to get up. Didn't know if they're going to have to bring on a stretcher, but looks like he is going to be assisted off by the goalie. All right, players have retaken the field. We have 7:18 on the clock. We'll restart with the goal kick. Hamlin had that chance on goal right before the injury timeout. Cougars in their opening game of the season with a 3-1 lead. Jax Edson comes in and punts it all the way back to the keeper. Vikings back in possession. Clevenger steps in, tries to win it. Vikings able to possess. Into the attack. Boney there. Edson able to settle. Looking for an option. Edson turns back to Ramos. Ramos to Clevenger. Clevenger plays Hamlin to the corner. And poked away by the Vikings. Throw in for the Cougars. Cougars are just trying to survive this last 6 minutes. Hamlin plays it into the middle. Clevenger gets a touch on it but can't settle it. Drops all the way back to Meningus. Meningus to Schumacher. Back to Meningus. Poked away by the Vikings, but right back to Schumacher. Schumacher looking to attack. Takes the strike and off the mark. Oh, deflected by the Vikings, they're saying. So corner kick for the Cougars. That's just the second corner of the game for the Cougars. Jackson Dunaway subbing back in the game for the Cougars. Took a long break there after he scored his goal. Meningus plays the ball in. Vikings get the first touch. Schumacher chasing. Dunaway steals. Drops back to Meningus. Over the top to Hamlin, headed away by the Vikings defender. Comes all the way back to Meningus. Plays to Schumacher. To Clevenger. Tries to chip it back to Schumacher. Schumacher at the top. Cleared away by the Vikings again. Back over the top to Clevenger. Tries to settle it in. Vikings pushing down the near side. Into the middle of the field. Touching the possession for the Vikings as Dunaway challenges. Dunaway with fresh feet. After sitting out for, say, probably 20 minutes. Horton comes up on the challenge. Played over to the far side as Edson comes. Back into the middle. Loose ball. Meningus able to clear. Hamlin will chase up to the top of the box. And the keeper does a nice job. That's 00 William D'Souza. Ball bounces over. Far side. Edson comes in and gets a foot on it. Ruled Cougars ball. I think he might be mistaken there, though. They give it to the Vikings, even though the AR signaled the wrong way. Looked like a handball on that one, but say no touch and throw in for the Vikings. Just over 3 minutes left to play in this first game. It's been kind of a weird environment. It's not, for the first game of the season, it's not high energy, but good patient play for the most part by the Cougars. Vikings open at the top. Boney gets a head on it. Schumacher tries to turn. Horton able to clear. Vikings back line. All the way across as Edson gets a touch. Loose ball. Schumacher comes on. Tries to settle it down with his chest. Hamlin able to turn. Hamlin carries to the near side. Chips it over the top for a Dunaway to chase. But that's going to roll out of bounds. Throw in for the Vikings. Loose ball. Clevenger heads it in. Clevenger, a nice touch to get it over the top of the defender. Carrying to the corner. Clevenger with a nice cutback. And fight for the ball. And foul called on Clevenger at the end of it. Free kick for the Vikings. .130 to play. Crumrine goes for the header. Yellow card given to the Parkview player. Okay, they let it run all the way down to 102. All right, so yellow card issued. That's the first yellow card of the game by my count. We'll have a restart here with a throw-in for the Vikings. Just a minute left. Vikings playing with 10 players. They did score their goal down a man. Cougars have gone into this flat 5 defense that I struggled a little bit to possess the ball. Okay, they're going to play it as a drop ball. They're asking to reset the clock to 1:30. All right, clock is set, and we are ready to restart. Drop ball to the Vikings. Schumacher challenges. Hamlin gets the ball. Hamlin carrying to space. Into the middle for Clevenger. Clevenger has room. Tries to make a tricky move, and Vikings able to steal. Clevenger comes back and wins it. Meningus on the ball. Stolen back by the Vikings. Cluster in the middle. Vikings into the attack. Loose ball as Dunaway gets a little extra as the ref plays advantage. That's a crazy long advantage call. They'd even switched possession, and the Parkview back line dribbled 8 yards, then made a bad pass, and then he brought it back. All right, free kick from the top. Dunaway settles with his chest, trying to get it out. 30 seconds remaining. Meningus comes in on the challenge and clears it away. Five seconds left, shot on goal. Stewart looks at the clock and he won't have to restart it. And that's going to do it. Final score, Cougars 3, Parkview Vikings 1. This was a nice start for the Cougars to the season. Not a game that we expected to win. It was one that we knew could be competitive, but definitely not one we charted as a victory coming into the season. So nice job by the Cougars to secure that 3-1 victory. Definitely had some ebbs and flows to the game. Rush Stewart some really fancy saves to keep the Cougars pitching that shutout, and then late in the game, just kind of a cluster in the box turned into a nice goal for the Vikings. We'll go ahead and send you through the second half recap as we close out here, and then we have a half of JV coming up, I believe. 35-minute JV running clock half. But before that, we'll send you through the recap of the second half. 2 goals for the Cougars. Kason Hamlin and Jackson Dunaway both got on board in the second half to add to the 1-goal lead the Cougars took into half on the goal from Lucas Nangle. We'll keep it here just another second as the Cougars jog over to thank the fans for coming out. All right, we'll send you through the recap. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are about ready to start the JV half, 35 minutes on the clock. This is a running clock. This is a tough sun. The sun coming in that far left corner end zone. It's tough for me to see in that direction. I'm looking through a double pane dirty window with the sun reflection, but I do have a hat on, so I can kind of block that angle. I think it's just going to get worse before it gets better, though. There's a high tree line on the backside, so if we can get that sun down below the tree line. I don't know if my camera's going to stay low enough. Yeah, it looks like it stays low enough that you're not really seeing the sun in the frame, so that's good. It's definitely hard to see here in the box. All right, so the JV team. Let's see who we got out there. We have Wesley Salkins on the right fullback, Evan Horton as center back, Caden White in the goal, Ben Bandy as the left center back, Grayson Crumrine as the left fullback, Jax Edson and Brian Ramos as the midfielders. Actually, Briner looks to be playing a defensive mid. Jax Edson as the right mid. Left mid is Lucas Nangle. Attacking 10 is Caleb Gabre. Right striker is Jackson Dunaway, and left is, I think based on who's left, that's Phoenix, but I can't actually see him. Let's see here. Yeah, that's Phoenix Willis as the left striker. Okay, we're underway. Parkview played it back to their back line and tried to play it out the far side. Out of bounds, throw in for the Cougars. Ball into Gabriel. Deflected by the Vikings, back to Gabriel to Nangle for the one-touch in. Gabriel runs onto it at the top of the box. Looking for some space. Still on the ball. The Vikings able to knock it away, but light foul called. And Cougars get a free kick. I don't think the ref's trying to tell him to put the ball where he's standing. All right, now we're getting it. All right. I got lines here, so you can pretty much tell that 10 yards is to the next line. It's a pretty easy indicator that he's short of 10 yards. Gabriel set to take the right-footed free kick. Try to chip it over and put it all the way over the goal. Goal kick for the JV Vikings. Gabriel gets a touch on it. Ramos tries to settle Vikings in the midfield. This JV squad got some time in the Jamboree, our third match. We took on Carthage JV, which was nice. They got some game minutes as a team. Dunaway steals. Dunaway trying to get into the box. Plays the ball across the frame. Phoenix Willis there takes the shot, deflected away by the Vikings. Cleared out down the line. Crumrine steps, gets a touch on it up to Nangle. And knocked out of play, throw in for the Vikings. Vikings into the attack. Banny's going to have to do something. Gets enough on it to delay it for Caden White, the keeper, and White's able to kill the threat. It's one thing that the varsity squad did so much better this year than they've done in past years, is just play that ball back to the keeper to kill that one-on-one threat. An angle to Gabriel, but behind him. Turned over back to the Vikings. Gabriel gets enough on it. Goes all the way up to the next line for the Vikings. Again, into the attack. Horton lets it run all the way into the box for White to pick up. A couple of varsity starters in the JV game for the Cougars. They don't have enough to fill a full JV. Jax Edson down the right side. Edson trying to find a way through. Still on the ball. Leaves it for Gabriel. Nice cut through into the box and knocked away. Did he call a foul there? I think he did. Outside the box. Another free kick for the Cougars. Edson up to take it. 3 players in the box for the Cougars. Gabriel joining in around the circle at the top. Ramos at the top. Ball sent in, bouncing ball. Keeper's there to make the save. Over to the far side. Falls to Willis, who gets it to Dunaway. To Gabriel, and heavy on the touch, goes all the way to the keeper. Keeper punts it to the near side. Nice touch by Sawkins to get it ahead to Edson. To Dunaway, who holds up play. Dunaway across the middle, finds Nangle. Gabriel there to receive it. Gabriel tries to chip it over the top. Still fighting for the ball. Nangle to Dunaway. Dunaway strikes it. Going for the far flag, and just misses it. And a goal kick for the Vikings. Goal kick to the middle. Sawkins there to receive it. Sawkins on the ground, finds Dunaway. Nice play by Sawkins. Gets it to Gabriel in the middle. Left foot ahead to Willis. Deflected back to Gabriel. Drop back to Ramos. Ramos tries to get through the challenge and loses it to the Vikings. Over to the near side. Edson comes to challenge. Carrying across the frame. Crumrine gets a touch on it to deflect the pass and out of bounds on the far side. It'll be a throw for the Vikings into the attack. Just one half of play tonight for the JV squad. Cannon White is out with an ankle sprain. Cannon White may earn some varsity minutes this year. Sophomore that has a nice frame to him. Good physical player. But he is injured. I don't know if that happened in the jamboree or in practice, but coach told me he had an ankle issue. Free kick for the Vikings all the way in. Caden White, Cannon's brother there in the goal, able to take it out of the air. Ooh, Dunaway loses his feet but gets enough of a touch to get it up to Sawkins. Over to Edson. Edson's able to keep it in on the sideline. Ahead to Gabry. Dunaway on the run. Good connection down the line. Good weighted ball by Gabry to get it ahead to Dunaway, and the Vikings have to clear it out. And a throw in for the Cougars. Edson there for the throw. Dunaway back to Edson. Looking to send service in. Deflected away by the Vikings. And another throw for the Cougars. Dunaway into the corner. Back to Edson. Sent in. Dangerous ball. Vikings able to clear. Ramos there. Vikings disrupt the challenge. Nangle comes in hard and ruled clean. Wins the ball. Nangle, nice move to get to space. Plays it across for Dunaway, headed into the air by the Vikings. Still in trouble at the top of the box. Edson there, rolls past. Played ahead. And Caden, nice job coming out of the box. Sends it back into the top. Bounces over. Vikings able to win it in the middle. Pass wide is off the mark and turnover back to the Cougars. Sub at the line for the Cougars. Titus Clevenger checking in for Brian Ramos. Got the throw-in Nazi here on the line for us this game. Another throw-in violation. Edson to take the throw. Good throw up to Dunaway. Dunaway into the corner. Gets it back to Edson. Edson again trying to play service in. Ball cleared away by the Vikings. Vikings heavy on the touch. Comes over to Sawkins on the near side, and Sawkins clears it out. Throw in for the Parkview JV Vikings. Gabry defending. Ball back into the middle of the field. Good 1-2 action by the Vikings to get in. And offside called as the Cougars either got lucky or had a great line. Let's see if we can tell whether that was luck or not. I'm going to go with skill. Free kick upcoming for the Cougars. Horton plays it short to Sawkins. Over to Edson. Horton ahead to Clevenger. Nice connection. Clevenger looking over the top. Plays it to Edson. Edson carrying. Gets the touch ahead. Edson trying to get to the corner. Able to keep it in. Still on the ball. Vikings played into the middle. Gabry there at the top of the box. Trying to get around. Clevenger there. Nice tackle to keep it in. Falls to Edson, who plays it across, deflected off Clevenger's back. Loose at the top of the box, and Angle comes on. Ball chipped away by the Vikings, but looked like he went through Nangle's thigh to get to it, and he gets called for the foul. Free kick for the Cougars. Probably far enough that he can try it on goal. Looks like they're setting up at the top of the box to send in service. Spread out across the top. Titus Clevenger taking the kick. Plays it short to Dunaway, back to Clevenger. Clevenger takes the strike and goes through for the goal. Clevenger just passed it right to the keeper's hands and goes right through for a goal for the Cougars. See this passing touch by Clevenger and just knuckled it enough that it fooled the keeper. All right, back to the action. Cougars now leading in the JV game 1-0, 20 minutes to play. Vikings quickly with a chance to answer. Nice job by Caden White to get off of his line and come up and kill that threat. Dangerous throw out to Clevenger in the middle of the field. Clevenger settles it down with his chest. Plays it over to Horton, who heads it ahead to Edson. Edson on the near side, looking for the connection down the line. Dunaway thought it was out of bounds initially and then gave pursuit as it stayed in longer than he expected, but out of bounds eventually for the throw in to the Vikings. Throw in violation on the Six Kings. Edson takes the throw into Gabriel. Caleb Gabriel, the good-looking freshman, sends in service, headed into the air by the Vikings. Again, that back line for the Vikings has done a nice job of clearing away those service balls in. Gabriel trying to find an angle, gets through, and poked away at the last moment by the center back, resulting in a corner kick upcoming for the Cougars. Caleb Gabriel over there on the near side to take the corner. Horton comes up short. He plays it to the middle, to the top. Nangle gets a head on it. Still in play. Gabriel saves it and actually ruled that it was at the end line. So a goal kick upcoming for the Vikings. 3 subs coming on for the Parkview Vikings before the goal kick. Cougars varsity winning their opening game of the season for the first time in my recent memory. I'll have to look back to see when the last time they won their opening game was. The first 7 opponents for the Cougars last season are not on the schedule this year, as we've done a little work to make the schedule a little bit more reasonable for our level, competing against teams that are more our size. As soccer's gotten bigger, the bigger teams have gotten stronger. And it's made it harder to compete with teams like Webb and CJ and Carthage and Joplin. So nice scheduling this year. We feel like we're going to be more balanced in a lot of games. There's a few powerhouses on the schedule that will give us a low percentage to win, but overall we feel like we'll be competitive in a lot of the games that we play. Free kick for the JV Vikings. Titus Clevenger wins the ball. Dunaway there in the middle finds Gabriel. Looking for the ball over the top. Great ball ahead to Edson. Edson in. Takes the shot and buries it in the goal. Jax Edson puts the Cougars ahead 2-0 in this JV game. Beautiful service by Caleb Gabriel over the top. As you see, he looks here before the ball sees Edson on the run. Well-timed ball. Edson gets in. And patient one-on-one finds the back of the net. Lucas Nangle steals it. Vikings again into a counterattack. Top of the box. Played ahead, and boy, they sure took away their threat. It seemed like on their own, instead of Cougars really doing anything to stop it. They just decided to play it wide, and then a bad pass put it out the end line, resulting in a goal kick upcoming for the Cougars. Brandon Ramos back in the game for the Cougars as, let's see, Lucas Nangle subs out. Caden White there to take the goal kick for the Cougars. White plays the ball up, all the way up to Ramos. Gets it to Clevenger, ahead to Gabriel. Again, he plays it over the top. Another nice ball in. Jackson Dunaway chasing for it. Dunaway gets to it, holds up play for Gabriel on the run, and challenge from behind, foul called. And yellow card issued. Push after the play, I believe, on Edson. Another opportunity for the Cougars for a free kick. Look at that ball by Gabriel again as he had space in the middle. Horton, Clevenger, Dunaway. Dunaway runs over it. Horton takes the chip shot and sends it just over the goal. It'll be a goal kick for the Vikings. Ball over the top. In the middle of the field. Wide to the far side of the field as Ramos comes over to challenge. Ramos wins the ball. Still in play. Ramos with a nice tick-tock to get through. Finds Gabriel ahead. Stolen back by the Vikings. Ball in, but offside. Flag is up. And the Cougars will get a free kick. Just over 13 minutes left in this JV match. Cougars leading 2-0. Evan Horton takes the free kick on the restart. Clevenger heads it forward for the opportunity for Dunaway. Cleared away by the Vikings. Touched ahead into the attack down the near side. Played across the middle. Ben Bandy there to get a touch. Bandy ahead to Clevenger. Clevenger over the top for Dunaway. Dunaway holds up play. Gets it to Gabriel. Gabriel tried to make a touch to get through, but mistouched and stolen back by the Vikings. Clevenger gets it right back to Gabriel, though. Back to Clevenger. Clevenger looking for space. Has Dunaway open. Finds him in. And Dunaway's offside. Let's take a look at that one. I didn't realize he was standing offside. Oh, I don't think that's a good call. Let me see that again. Ooh. It's hard to see from this angle for sure, but AR was right on the line there. Carmine finds Clevenger on the run. Clevenger, nice hesitation play to get into the box. Trying to get the edge. Clevenger in, still on the ball with the left, and Titus Clevenger puts it in for the goal. 3-0 lead for the Cougars. Clevenger just too much to handle there as he just kept weaving in and out, and nice quick touch with the left. I don't think the keeper expected him to go quick like that, and caught him off guard. Able to sneak it in that near post. Cougars now 3-0 in this JV game, 11 minutes to play. Clevenger, a second-team all-district player last year for the Cougars, so it's not entirely fair for him to be in the JV game, but that's the nature of us being a small school. We don't have enough to fill the JV roster, so some of these varsity players get minutes in the JV games. Ball played to the corner. Clevenger there defending. And knocked out of play by the Vikings, throwing for the Cougars. Gabriel wins the challenge. Has Nangle with some space. Nangle trying to turn. Didn't check his shoulders there. Got caught with a defender on his back. Ben Bandy in the middle. To Edson. Edson getting fancy. Carrying it down the near side. As Nangle runs through to Gabriel. Gabriel with the back heel touch to get in, and poked away by the Vikings center back. Corner kick upcoming for the Cougars. Horton chips it in, trying to be cute, and loose ball. Keeper's able to secure it. Vikings with some space in the middle. Bandy comes up to challenge. Nangle hustling back to help. Ball in. Caden White, nice job reading it, stepping up and getting it at the top of the box. Punts it right into the Vikings' back, though. Luckily, Horton was there to clear it. Horton puts it right back to the Vikings player. Bandy there, ball on the ground. Bandy able to poke it away. Plays it ahead to Edson, too far ahead, but bounces right back to Bandy. Gabriel there to Edson on the near side. Down the line for Nangle, he lets it run, chasing to the corner. Nangle comes in with a heavy challenge, and that's a foul. Free kick for the Vikings. Restart after the subs. Clevenger plays it over the top. Nangle's chasing. Nangle gets in, gets a foot on it, and puts the shot on frame. Keeper's there to make the save. Top spinning ball to the middle. Ramos heads it down. Crumrine to Edson. Edson, good patience, gets it to Crumrine. One touch to Horton. Horton really improved this year on being able to settle that first touch and then make a decision. Really like to see that from him. Gabriel turns it back to Clevenger, now playing center back. Looks for Nangle on the run, decides to play it to the near side for Crumrine. Crumrine to Edson, and just outside the line, throw in for the Vikings. Gabriel steals. Trying to get in. Well defended by the Vikings, and they have to clear it out the end line. Corner kick upcoming for the Cougars. Gabriel sends in the corner. Dunaway. Ahead to Willis. Cleared away the end line again by the Vikings, so another corner kick upcoming. Bandy gets a touch all the way up to Willis. Vikings able to clear over to the far side. Ramos there to challenge. That's turned into a beautiful night now, 7:45. Sun's down past that tree line, and nice little breeze. This would be a great time to start the varsity game. Those 5 o'clock starts in the heat of the day still are tough. Edson with a steal to Nangle. Nangle gets tripped up, and a free kick upcoming for the Cougars. All right, Evan Horton there to take the free kick. Played into Nangle off of his knee, and the Vikings just decide to clear to get rid of the danger. Out to the near side for a throw-in for the Cougars. Edson takes the throw into Gabriel. Ruled out of bounds. Throw-in upcoming. 3:30 to play. Evan Horton coming down to take the throw. I'm sorry, it was a foul, so free kick. Horton taking the free kick. Side spinning ball in. Goes through the first line. All the way out to the top. Nangle gets tripped up. Nangle goes for the shove in the back and gets called for the foul. Quick restart stolen by Dunaway. Over to Edson. Tries to find Dunaway back. Edson able to get possession. Looking for the next pass. Drops back to Horton on the back line with the left foot. One touch in. Headed away by the Vikings. Gabriel there. Gabriel able to track it down. 3 guys on him. Tries to find an outlet, but stolen away by the Vikings. Vikings carrying down the near side. Crumrine defending. Nice win by Crumrine. And they able to win the outlet to Edson. Edson here for the throw. Actually, he'll leave it for Crumrine. Grayson Crumrine, the junior. Good throw into Nangle. Trying to settle down with his chest. Nangle gets tripped up. And a free kick for the Cougars. Horton plays it over the top. Gabry in. Gets pushed off the ball, and corner kick for the Cougars. .1:15 to play. 3-0 lead for the Cougars in this JV match. Ball sent to the backside, too far. Dunaway chasing. They look at their first. Drops it back to Ramos. Over to Dunaway. Dunaway with his left tries to drive it in. Deflected away by the Vikings. Back to the top. Gabry reads it to Steele. Falls to Dunaway. Across to Nangle. Lucas Nangle trying to turn into the box, and Vikings able to clear again. Edson here on the near side. Lets it run out. Throw in for the Cougars. Under 30 to play. Ball into Nangle, back to Edson. Drop back to Crumrine. Ahead to Gabry. Gabry, nice job checking to that ball. Ball still loose as the Vikings steal. Played all the way through. Vikings able to keep it in, but that is the final. JV final. Cougars 3, Vikings 0. And that does it for the night. Good start to the season for the Cougars. Both JV and varsity victorious. We'll send you through the JV recap as we close out here. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back for the next game, which is to be posted later. I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't remember. It just went blank.